We are chill to start. So, ha, just some basic question. Fuck's sake. Oh my god. Give me 1 second. Are you vacuuming? Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, we're live right now. I can stream and record at the same time. That's great. Let me carefully do this first. Trigger warning. We talk about some pretty heavy stuff in this. There's institutional child abuse, of course, and we're gonna talk about you attempting to do a suicide attempt. Correct? Okay. So just beware of that. Take some time to take care of yourselves after it, or just feel free to um, leave the video if it gets too upsetting. Please take care of yourselves. So, how how would you describe your like early life before you got put into the trouble teen industry? Ah, ah, I see. Sorry. No,
So,
yeah, you're all good. Uh,
okay.
I'm okay. Cool.
I just didn't know if you had like a series of questions you wanted to ask me,
Um,
like,
it's mostly describing your experience, but I do occasionally have some questions. But so you,
sure.
so you had like a pretty loving like relationship with your family. Like they were
Yeah.
definitely like trying to support you, but maybe not in like
Yes.
the right way.
Well, the thing is that I guess I kind of became difficult to support. The summer before seventh grade started, my issues really started to like take hold because I started having panic attacks.
Ah,
I have bipolar disorder and also anxiety disorder, and I started doing really impulsive, risky things. Like I tried to run away from home the last week of August before. I don't even remember why. I got into some minor argument with my mother, and I just panicked, and I wasn't really sure like what I was thinking, and I just had a mental breakdown. And so the week before I started 7th grade, my parents decided that I needed an intervention, understandably, so I was hospitalized for the first time. Um, I was sent to Westwood Lodge in Westwood, Massachusetts, and I was there for a week. While I was there, I was put on the drug Depakote, which is a pretty strong antipsychotic. Now, I mention that because I think part of what happened is that I had a paradoxical reaction to this medication. It wasn't like I don't have a medical background, so I can't be like this is definite, but it makes a lot of sense because I was depressed. I was like struggling with delusions about death, but I wasn't suicidal until I was on this medication. I was at the hospital for a week and then they discharged me and I went back to public school. And I made it about 2 weeks in, and then I had another massive panic attack at school. Like, 1 minute I was in the classroom, I don't even remember leaving the classroom, and then I was outside of the building, and a staff member confronted me, and I just freaked out. So, I was pulled out of school. I was, they gave a tutor came, like, once a day to, like, for an hour to try to tutor me, and I was in therapy, but I was unresponsive to either of those things. The last week of September, my parents went away on a vacation overseas. So my grandmother and my uncle came up to watch my siblings and I. Now this is the trigger warning. And if I get too upsetting about anything I'm talking about, please just feel free to cut in and say, listen too much.
Yeah.
But I don't, this is why I think it was paradoxical reaction, because I don't really remember the events that led the mindset I had to let me to do this, but I took an entire bottle of Depakote on my birthday
Oh.
night. Like they were watching a movie in the other room and I got into the medicine cabinet and the bottle was full and I took the entire thing. I remember going up to my room and then laying on my bed and blacking out. My uncle found me. He saved my life. He I had to be flown to Mass General to have my stomach pumped. I woke up 3 days later.
Oh wow.
I After I recovered, I was sent to Boston Children's Hospital to the psychiatric ward, and I thought, oh, I'm going to be here for a week and go home. I was there for 2.5 months
Oh wow.
because my parents, the school, my doctors, my social worker decided I needed to go to a residential treatment facility.
Oh.
So they had to look for one and then they had to wait for a bed to open. So I was there for a while. And for the most part, it wasn't bad, but there was some pretty upsetting things that happened there. Like, I would have a panic attack and I would find myself, like, you know, I was strapped to a bed at one point,
Oh
and
jeez.
I have confinement issues, so that was scary. And I saw kids, like, younger than me being put in straitjackets and stuff like that. So, after 2.5 months, I was sent to the Dr. Franklin Perkins School in Lancaster, Massachusetts.
Mhm.
I lived there for a year and a half, during which I was hospitalized twice, which, I don't know, but isn't the whole point of these places to keep kids out of the hospital?
Yeah.
No, but I had two incidents, and they sent me to like this one place, Pembroke, and this one like Lowell Youth Treatment Center. But after that, after a year and a half, I was finally able to go home, but I had to be a day student. And I was a day student until halfway through my freshman year of high school when my mother finally got them to discharge me, which they weren't going to do. And the reason is that the town that my hometown was paying for me to go, and they didn't
Oh.
want to lose the revenue stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. That seems to be a problem because I've had someone reach out to me recently who was a more current resident of the Perkins School, and they said that one of the big issues is that they want to keep kids there, and that is motivated by money.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Like longer, because at that point in my life, I was definitely ready to go back to school. Like I was in a better frame of mind. I wasn't having like the mental breakdowns that I was having like before I went. So, like, I was ready to go back to school, and I eventually did. And my high school years were so much better. Like, I was seeing a good therapist. I just, took special ed classes, but to help manage, but um, yeah, it's really frustrating when money is the main motivation, when you're a caregiver, your patient should be coming first, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely like just ulterior motives. Just not very,
Yeah.
not very good.
So I'm going to say that I've been very fortunate in the fact that compared to so many survivor stories, I did not experience the severe abuse and neglect and, no kidnapping, no forced labor, but
Yeah,
there were questionable things when I was there. At least that I'm reflecting on it now, because back then I really thought that I deserved all it. That that was, you know, I didn't know how to advocate for myself. I didn't know how to,
yeah,
say like I don't want to be on this medication, that I have to take another medication just to counteract the side effects of a medication. Like,
definitely,
should a
yeah,
13-year-old really be on something like risperidone? You know, a lot of these like drugs, they're hard enough for adults to be on.
yeah.
Um, so for someone on the cusp of puberty to be on,
Oh yeah, I can't imagine the like imbalances and like hormones and like chemicals in the brain with like growing up and also taking all these multitude of drugs, just like the drugs with each other as
and they
well.
really did. I mean, they made me so lethargic, and and it just feels like doctors, I think, like more in it was like the late 90s, so I think they were a little more like willing to just put people on medication. These days I feel like doctors are a little less are starting to realize that they're
Yeah,
over medicating people. But back then it was just like I had no say. It was just like they didn't ask me how you're doing on it. They're just like, we're gonna give you this. You're gonna try this. You're gonna try this. And you know, what I really wish is that I had better advocacy. My parents tried, but you know what? If you're not living at home, there's only so much they can do. And I had to kind of go along with whatever my social worker
yeah,
and the staff members decided that was good for me. Like, there weren't restraint beds at Perkins, there weren't straitjackets, but they did put you in physical restraints if you acted out, quote unquote, even if you weren't like a
yeah.
danger to anyone at the time. Like, I would have panic attacks and I would find myself held, you know, and the quiet rooms. You know how they joke about like rubber rooms? Yeah, those rooms aren't rubber. They're hard floors,
Um,
really therapeutic. And they hold the doors closed, and being claustrophobic, that would scare the it was scary the first time I was put in one of those,
oh wow.
especially when my mind, my mental health was compromised at the time. I admit it, but
Yeah,
like I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. I wasn't even at times I wasn't even trying to hurt myself. I was just overwhelmed.
I
Like, I got oh, go ahead.
I sincerely doubt that that would make any situation better, especially like if you're in such a state of mind. I can only imagine it being
Yeah,
making it worse.
it did. I mean, there were stuff that, every any place is only as good as the people that run it, and
Yeah.
or work at it. And there were staff that were compassionate, but there was staff that didn't care either. Or they were
Mm.
just they burned out or just didn't know. Some it's not even maliciousness. They just don't know. They're not properly trained, you
Oh.
know?
Oh
And
yeah.
they kind of hire anybody because sometimes they just need the ratios. I mean, I used to be a
Yeah.
teacher. I know what it's like to need ratios, but sometimes you end up with people who are
Oh yeah,
just
definitely.
filling a spot instead
Yeah.
of qualified.
Yeah, I can
And I
imagine that.
remember
Yeah. Sorry.
6 months in, oh, sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting, but 6 months in, I actually did try to run away.
Oh.
Um, I was not, because I was really homesick, and I was just like, I don't want to be here anymore. So we were on a bathroom break from classes, and I
Mm.
actually snuck out the bathroom window.
No.
I used to be able to fit through that. I didn't really have a plan either. I just like got out of the window. It was obviously on the first floor. And just ran up the street. And a staff member, and I think he used to be like I think he was in the army or something. I
Oh,
mean, he snuck
jeez.
up on me like a ninja. And I saw him and I just panicked at the time. And he grabbed me and put me in a restraining hold and sat with me on the side of the road after he called the police and they had to take me back to the school. And they sent me to the crisis center and evaluated me and then just sent me to a local psychiatric ward for like a week.
Hmm.
And then I came back, but it was scary. Just like I was overwhelmed. I wanted to go home and, you
Yeah.
know,
There should be no situation where a child who's afraid should be put in a restraining hold by like an adult.
I mean, I know they like had to keep us at the school, but it was just the way it was approached. Like he wasn't like aggressive or anything, but he just like I was being held against my will and it just scared me.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids went through that. And there were situations in which like kids were getting into. I remember one night like I lived on a hall with like four other girls
Hmm.
and they all got into a fucking fist fight.
Oh wow.
And yeah, I mean that's when they had to like come in and like restrain and I
Mm.
get that, but like it was still like they would do that if you even if you weren't violent,
Yeah.
you know. I'm not a fighter. But I have anxiety, and when I have anxiety and I'm panicking, I don't really listen all that well, and sometimes I can even be belligerent.
Mm.
And that was enough to justify for them holding me against my will. And I just never thought of these things as abnormal because I thought that it was necessary. They were helping me. They're doctors,
Mm.
they're
Yeah.
professionals. And I never even heard the term troubled teen industry until recently
Mm. Yeah, like
because I never thought of it that way.
the inherent trust in like adults and like medical professionals just in general, and it's really what allows like the industry to really just keep getting past this, especially when they're taking or quote unquote taking care of like kids with like troubled kids, like quote unquote kids with problems. So just
Hmm.
nobody really believes you, even though there's like there to some extent it's understandable because there are several like different reasons why a testimony from somebody who's not quite like mentally like stable would be.
Like someone who experiences psychosis, which I
Yeah,
have experienced.
definitely.
Not as strong as like some people do, but I've had mild bouts of psychosis where like I don't know why I'm behaving. I think that was part of my overdose was about a psychosis because I just don't remember what led me
Yeah.
to act that way, but it happened, and it's scary because it's like I felt out of control.
And like you,
And
these kids definitely need help, and these places are supposed to help
oh,
them, and then they don't.
yes, and they even fail some kids because a roommate of mine, I found out in 2005 she took her own life.
Oh.
And I really and I met so many kids who are in foster care living at these places. Like it's one thing to have like family and live away from them. It's another thing if
Yeah.
you're just like relying on these people because you have no one. I remember this one girl like begging me because we became close and I wanted my mother to adopt her. And
Oh.
she couldn't, obviously she had enough but going on, but you know and so many of these kids have come from abusive homes and then they go to these places and there's more abusive practices. It's like who can they trust?
Yeah. It's just so. I really don't want to drop an F bomb because Colin makes fun of me for it
I'll
all the
try to watch
time.
my language. I'm not normally like very foul mouthed, but sometimes I drop. I don't know
I
how much.
I'm the opposite. I curse like every other
Okay.
sentence, but that is.
I'm a mom, so I kind of have to watch my language.
Yeah, I understand. I work with kids, and yeah, I somehow still have just an extremely dirty mouth.
You gotta learn to like sugar honey iced tea is one I in particular that I like to use when I want to say something. So yes.
That
But
is.
and that's actually one of the reasons why I just decided to do this. I have a son. I have an 8-year-old son, and
Oh.
I hope he never has my issues or has like severe psychiatric issues, but you never know. And I want to be a an advocate for him. My parents did their best, but they just didn't know how. Like my
Mm.
father has a deep distrust of like the government and like
Yeah.
under only understandable to a point, but he kind of takes it a little too far, a very conservative way,
Ah.
if you know what I mean. So he was very wary of me going to, I mean, he visited me and he was, supportive, but at the same time, he didn't really understand
Yeah.
why I was acting the way I did, or like he hated these places and I never understood why. I'm like, Dad, they're trying to help me, especially since you don't really know how to help me. And my mother tried too. She had to learn kind of by the seat of her pants just because it all happened so fast.
Mm.
But and I was hospitalized as an adult once in college, and I think part of the reason why I voluntarily went because these places institutionalize people. You know, you get in my darkest hour, what happened? I was sent to a place, so it kind of became like a safe space.
Mm.
I still kind of minorly struggle with it these days, like getting so low, like But when I was 19, I was really struggling, and I went back to Westwood Lodge. And let me tell you, the children's ward versus the adult ward, night and day, as opposed when it comes to how committed the staff are. None of the staff gave a shit about sorry, about any of the patients there.
Oh wow.
And my father came to visit me, and he was angry with me for being hospitalized. And my parents, they were like fed up with me, and when I came home, my mother kind of, I don't think she meant it, but she said she'd disown me if I went back. I think she was just like at her wit's end with it. But first of all, it had been a lot of years since my last hospitalization, so I don't really like know where it came from. Like I know hospitalizations, as an adult, you have to take like adult things into consideration, like insurance and whatnot. That's
Yeah.
on you. But still, like I was in a really dark place. I was having excuse me, in a second. I gotta buy something to wipe my nose. I'm gonna. It's a little just a little emotional right now.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
it, but when I was struggling, that's what how I was treated. So like it was a coping mechanism. You know,
Yeah.
you get therapists and whatnot, but like that's what I learned from a young age. What happens when you have a mental breakdown? You get sent away. So it's like I want to know how to do things differently if my son ever needs that kind of,
Definitely,
you
yeah.
know.
None of
I
these
want to
kids
know because I
deserve this.
I don't want to send him away. I don't want him to have to get to that point because when I went back to high school, it was hard at first. Like knew me before they would call me a psycho because they basically bullied me into these places.
Oh wow.
You know, and it's just like, and I know I'm not obviously the only one who's been through this, and I know that so many people have had a worse situation, but that's all the more reason why I joined Unsilenced on Discord because
Yeah.
I want this to stop. And I've heard things about the Dr. Franklin Perkins School, and it's disturbing. Like there was a rape case.
Oh, jeez.
And that stuff either didn't happen when I was there or happened and I didn't know about it. Because these places are really good at hiding this
Yeah,
stuff.
the possibility of it happening while you're there and
Yeah.
not knowing about it is.
I mean, I could only be in one building at one time. You never know what was
Yeah.
happening. It was a big school, huge place, different buildings. Like, things could have happened in other buildings and I would not have known about it. I mean, yes, students talk, but only so much, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's what makes
And a
it
lot of
really
them came from,
disturbing.
I mean, I had friends there that came from households where they were sexually abused, so they probably, well, a lot of them were kind of like conditioned this is normal behavior when it's not.
Yeah,
So,
they just prey on the people who need help and the people who should not be preyed on the most, or the most like susceptible to it.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, when I was at one of the psychiatric wards, I knew a 3-year-old that was there,
A
like a 3-year-old.
3-year-old?
Poor little, yes. I mean, there was 3 and a 4-year-old boy at when I was at Boston Children's,
Oh,
and
jeez.
they definitely came from bad homes. I mean, the 3-year-old swore like a sailor, and he had anger issues.
Oh,
But he was 3 years old. It's like, what is he doing here?
yeah.
You know? And the stigma of being in these places, you can't even talk about it with other people. No other like ailment, people don't shame people for having cancer. People don't shame people for, having to have, why do we do this to psychiatric patients? Like, oh, it's not a physical ailment. Well, actually it is because the brain controls the psychological state of a human being, doesn't it? Isn't it a
Yeah.
physical part of the human body? And not only that, but it's most complex.
I know. It's not much different from like having a tumor in like your arm or something.
And, psychiatric disorders can lead to suicide ideally, so it can be deadly. And people can self-harm, you know? So it's like, why do we do this? Why do we treat people this way?
And these people are the ones who need like support and understanding the most.
Exactly, especially when they're adults on the ward because they didn't get the help they needed as kids. I was disgusted with Westwood. I'm so glad to hear it shut down. Sadly, it was because a patient died.
Oh
I didn't want
no.
that to happen, but I'm glad that place is shut down.
Yeah. At least that
It's
way
just
like
like
it
I
doesn't
remembered
happen more.
they didn't do anything for the adults. Like, yeah, a doctor would come every once in a while, but other than that, we just kind of milled around the the common room. People were just sleeping in chairs, just like the staff just did not give a crap, and it was sad
Jeez.
compared to like when I was there as a kid, and it wasn't perfect, but there were staff members that like did care about the kids. Like the first night I was there, I was so scared, like I couldn't sleep, and a staff member came in and comforted me.
Yeah.
You didn't see that attention. It's just not right.
Yeah, especially as you going there as not even like a like when you're older, like you were 19, you were just barely an adult.
Yes, exactly. And dealing with the adult world for the first time,
Yeah,
which
it's
can
very
be
stressful.
overwhelming. Yeah, I was going to college in the morning, taking classes in the morning, working in the afternoon, and then nighttime was like I had to decide between a social life and homework and
Yeah.
eventually sleep. There were nights I was just like up for 24 hours and like I remember shaking with exhaustion just because I couldn't sleep. So, and I was really struggling. And also my grandparents who lived in the town I was going to college in, their health was failing. And so I was dealing with that too.
Um.
Because I was actually living with them. I was commuting to college and I was living with them. I lived in the basement apartment and of
Mm.
their condo and I paid a little rent and I kind of kept an eye on them in exchange and would like do like run errands for them. Uh, but they had a lot of health issues, and so I was worried about them. So all that on top of, trying to deal with that and having a mental illness,
Yeah.
not a great combination.
No. And that would be like stressful for anybody. Just not to mention you.
Exactly. Oh yeah, yeah. So it was just like, and it just really. Now, when I learned about the troubled teen industry recently because I came across the term in an article, I was just like
Oh.
scrolling one night and I came across this like good intentions, gone wrong or something. And I was bored. I was like, fine, I'll read it. And I came across like somebody talking about residential treatment centers and they called it the troubled teen industry. I'm like, okay. And they mentioned a podcast called Last Podcast on the Left. And that podcast did 3 episodes on the troubled teen industry and the really like
Oh.
bad ones like the Elan School. And while I didn't really care for the podcast because I just didn't really care for like the dude bro humor, I could take or leave,
Yeah.
but it did bring up some really good points in between all that. So I did some research on my own, and that's how I found Unsilenced because I was just so. It really made me rethink everything I went through, and just the fact that people have had it so much worse. And it's still pretty like the things I went through were pretty
Yeah.
disturbing, but like thing that the people getting kidnapped from their homes and forced labor, like what the fuck?
Yeah, like we
Just
yeah, like we hear like Maddie getting like escorted, quote unquote, um from his home in like across the state, across multiple states. I don't remember. I think it was from like California to Utah on a plane. Is just
that's right.
crazy.
And that's crazy. I mean, you're not even in your own state, how unsafe
Yeah.
that must feel. Like, I mean, my school was like a 45 minutes away from my home, and even that felt like 1,000 miles away because I was living away, you know?
Definitely. Yeah.
And it's worse in hospitals because like at least with like a school like that, you've got like you've got grounds and you've got like,
Mm.
and you're a hospital, you're in a locked ward.
Yeah. It
Like
feels just
it's
even
not prison,
worse.
but it feels like it.
Yeah.
You lose autonomy with these places. That's the biggest thing. You lose like a lot of autonomy. Like I felt like, just
Yeah.
whenever I was overwhelmed, like other people could make decisions for me,
Like they
with my
dehumanize you
treat
as
between
well.
treatments. Yes. So it really, like, that's what really made it hard, like, when I was hospitalized as an adult because I was trying to be independent, but having this, like, institutionalized mindset.
Yeah.
And now I'm so afraid of hospitals that, like, I struggle with suicide ideality on and off, and I'm afraid to call hotlines because I'm afraid of saying this wrong thing
Oh.
and being voluntarily committed.
Yeah. It's never good to
So I,
punish someone for getting help.
no, I don't know why we have this stigma. It's just but so that's why I joined Unsilenced because I want to do whatever I can to be a part of
Yeah.
helping people and trying to get these places just there needs to be reform, there needs to be a better way.
Definitely. Yeah. Like I of
I
course
know it's
am
easier
not a
said than done, but
survivor. I found out about the trouble teen industry through
excuse me.
TikTok, as cringy as that sounds.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, no, no,
yeah. And I mean, if like whatever spreads the word, right? So
exactly.
if you're finding out about this through the YouTube podcast, then sure. I mean, if you're gonna do good in the world, doesn't really matter where you get it from, right?
No, exactly.
Yeah, but this just it needs to stop just because of how it's so fucking dystopian. I that there's another F bomb.
And nobody really knows about it. Like I
Yeah.
went back to high school and I had like a one or two friends that, I wish had visited me, but obviously they didn't know.
Mm.
Like, and as adult, I can understand, like, they didn't know. People don't know about these places. Like, they know about psych wards, but they know about from Hollywood, which so blows it out of proportion,
Yeah.
like, not realistic at all. And I wanted to talk to my friends about my experience, but they were uncomfortable when I started
Mm.
talking about it, so I stopped and I've kept it to myself for so long. Like, I mean, I can talk to my husband about it and stuff like that, but I always feel like a freak, Like I feel like
Yeah.
there was a chunk of my childhood that
Yeah.
I can't really talk about, like, because I don't want people to judge me for it.
They keep you so isolated from everything everybody else's experiences, that it feels weird because you're not
Yep.
able to relate.
Like, I had a roommate in middle school. Why'd you have a roommate in middle school? So I was at some, you know, it's not boarding school where it's prestigious, it's a delinquent place, and it's and it really upsets me, especially the treatment of the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah, because there's such a wide
They always get
range.
the worst. They
Yeah.
really just always get the worst out of it. I mean, I have gay loved ones. My sister is married to a woman. I have an uncle married to a man. They've been happily married for years. I had a transgendered best friend who, who to 2021. I'm sorry.
Oh no, no, it's okay. Please take your time. This is very hard.
This is why I mentioned the trigger warning, because she introduced me to my husband, and
Oh,
I just wish I could have helped her.
I'm so sorry. I can't imagine the loss that you've been through. It's alright, please. It's so incredibly. I don't even have words for it.
The cruelty is just
Yeah.
it's just horrible. It's so unnecessary too. I mean, who cares? Why would you care about this so much? She was a good person, not a saint, obviously. No one is, but she was so open-hearted, and she accepted me for who I was. I'm a little hard to handle. I can be immature. I can, be a little overwhelming with, bipolar kind of plays into that with, the more manic and
Mm-hmm.
just personality-wise. But, I mean, she'd call me out when I acted up, but like, she accepted me for who I was. And I accepted her, but people wouldn't, and it got to her. And I feel guilt, not only because I couldn't help her, because, I'm a survivor of suicide. I almost died,
Mm-hmm.
and I got help, and I just wish she could. And it just, like, the troubled teen industry does prey on, like, the LGBTQ community, like, all these conversion therapies and pray the
Yeah.
gay away camps, and it's just disgusting.
It really is. Just the brainwashing, just trying to it's really trying to expand their demographic to whatever brings them the most money, which is just so
Yeah.
sick.
And they're an easy target because people, like adults, don't have sympathy for them.
No.
They think they deserve that, and they don't.
It's just insane how as adults they you were once a child, and yet they just disregard younger people because a little bit they're not as grown up, they're not adults, and that somehow makes their experiences invalid, even though they say that when they were a child they were like just as much of a person as they are now.
Exactly. You know what makes a person real? How they treat other people. Everything else is just window dressing.
Yeah.
You know. But people can't see that. Like, she was funny. I just had the best time with her, and you know, she never. I just wish I could have talked to her about it, but she never opened up about anything.
Yeah.
I just that there just needs to be change. That's how I feel about it.
Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, I
I No, sorry, you go ahead.
go ahead. No, I just I mean, I've been doing a lot of talking. I didn't know if you had like any specific things you wanted to ask about,
Uh, I was just
or
gonna
talk
talk
about.
about. Yeah, I had a friend. I'm not gonna use their name for privacy reasons, but
Yeah, of course.
I think I had at least a couple who were also contemplating taking their lives. I think one was like messaging me while they were overdosing, and
Oh,
I felt so helpless because they're online and I don't like know where they live. I couldn't contact anybody near them, so I just had to
oh,
hope and pray. But all of these were because of how their parents treated them, because they're in very I I don't want to say abusive, even though that's the correct word for their
mhm.
situation, but is it so much to ask for parents not to drive their kids to this state?
Yeah, exactly. I you know, that being at these that school was really eye-opening for me. I didn't know a lot of kids that were in foster care before. Um, I went there and there was like the majority of them were, and just, it was shocking to me just how the kind of backgrounds these kids came from.
Yeah. It,
And it's even worse because like there's sympathy for like a lot of adults. You say, oh, this child has been abused, and people usually react with sympathy. But if you say like this child, his parents were abusing them or kicked them out of the house because they were bisexual or something, and they're like, oh, that makes sense. I'm sorry, that's tradition. I'm sorry, that's parental rights. Why does that empathy fly out the window?
yeah. It only goes as far as what they deem as correct, or like just there's a I feel like there's an extreme lack of empathy in like
It is like
recently.
like would they want to be treated that way, you know?
Absolutely. Like this is saying a
Like,
lot
and think
because
about it, would you want your kid going through that? Is it really
absolutely
worth it?
they try and use anything to like justify their treatment when the treatment itself is not justifiable by any means.
It's unfortunately a lot of it has been like religiously motivated.
Yeah,
And, it's really hard to fight against that because so many people, like, I mean, yes, religious people have rights, but so do people who don't believe. Like,
absolutely.
if a religious belief or any belief, but if a religious belief is harming people, like, why can't we draw the line? You know, Other
Yeah,
belief systems, we draw lines. But they have a lot of power in their corner,
they really do.
for centuries because of just human, you know,
Yeah,
history. It's just been a really like hard thing to fight, you know. They have the right to treat us this way.
which is so odd in especially in America as the place that touts itself as the land of the free, of like free to worship
That's
whatever
what they use as
religion
an
and
excuse.
stuff.
I have freedom of religion. I can do this. And if you say no to it, I know this is not all religious people. I get that. I do.
Yeah,
There are plenty. My sister and her wife go to church. They have a wonderful church that even got them married. I
yeah.
know not all, but there is a majority, and it is so hard because it is so institutionalized
Mm-hmm.
that we just like it's okay for you to kick your kid out of the house because you're this religion. Why is that acceptable? If I'm a atheist, if I kicked my kid out of the house, that'd be child neglect. That'd be child abandonment.
Yeah.
Why do we?
It's always treat everyone nicely and kindly until it goes against your beliefs.
It's just like some beliefs. It's just like, is this really something you want your religion to be known for?
Yeah.
because there are so many other aspects of religions that are good. Like, why would it be this worth it, you know? I don't want to get too much on a tangent because it really isn't like, but
Yeah.
it's just only one part of it. But, you know, that's one thing that just makes it hard to
Mm-hmm.
fight against like the troubled teen industry when things like religion
Yeah.
gets involved. Very hard to fight because they've got that First Amendment in their corner to really just like, you do this and you're oppressing me, even though I'm not the one being hurt.
Yeah. Even though
So it's like,
they've caused
like
the harm.
going against these schools like is hard enough because they have so much like political and corporate like people in their corner, you
Yeah.
know, fighting against that. It's really uphill because you know they can afford the lawyers that can and they can pay their way out of consequences.
Definitely. This is just, it's
And the
so,
fact that they're like, I hope this Trails place gets closed, you know?
definitely.
It sounds like they're doing it,
Yeah.
but the process is so slow.
Yeah. A lot
Like,
of like corporate stuff is always so slow.
and I was a mandated reporter just reporting abuse for one child for, you know, their family beating them is such an arduous, stressful process because they very quickly turn it on you. Like, there was this child being just like really badly abused and you know, my co-teacher and I reported it, and it was just constant, like, you know, go over this, what, you know, and then at one point they were like, were you the one doing this? And it's like, no, you know, it's so fighting just for one child is hard
Yeah.
enough.
They make it
Fighting for a
so
whole
difficult.
school of kids, they do, you know, and it puts you through the ringer. You're just trying to protect a child. Like I knew a girl, a little baby that was beaten, shaken
Oh,
by
wow.
her father, and the courts let her go home with her father because he said, "Oh, you got to keep the family together." This man caused her brain damage.
Oh, jeez.
Why would you do that? So this is why it's you know we need reform because like fighting just one battle is hard enough.
Yeah.
Fighting for all these kids who have no one to speak for them is even harder.
Yeah, people tend to take the path of least resistance. So all this paperwork and fighting and
And not being taken seriously because, you know,
yeah.
it's the word of someone who has, like, in my case, it was the word of someone who had a mental illness against, like, oh, her thought process is compromised, you know? And yes, to an extent it was, but that doesn't mean that, you know, I can't tell abuse from, you know,
Yeah.
because I'm having periods, brief periods of psychosis, doesn't mean like that I'm not lucid at all. Like, and that I shouldn't be taken seriously.
Yeah, it doesn't excuse the way you've been treated, the cruelty.
No. Or anyone else, you know?
No.
Even if I was like treated like a queen, if other people are being used, that's not acceptable.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was so nervous about doing this, but I really wanted to because, you know, this is an important cause. Like, not just my
Yeah.
story, obviously, but the previous ones. Like, you know?
Definitely. I'm so honored you took this chance for us to
Thank
get
you.
to share your story.
But I knew it was going to be hard, and that's why I'm like,
Mhm.
kind of shaky right now and not speaking the most coherently because it's hard to revisit this and I
Of
don't get to talk
course.
about it very
Yeah.
often. Obviously because I don't dwell on it, you know, which is a good thing. That's
Mhm.
healthy, you know, being able to move on with one's life, but it's always back there, you know.
Yeah.
And if it's back there for me, imagine how much it's there for people who don't have this resolved or have been through so much worse. And I didn't even think like I should have like talked about it because I didn't have it as bad. You know, I shouldn't complain, and yet, you
No.
know,
Every experience is equally as valuable and equally deserving to be shared.
I mean, that's what I thought too, but I always kind of felt like,
Yeah.
their stories are so much worse. So, hearing from me, they probably think, oh, she didn't have it that bad. So she shouldn't be talking.
That yeah, that mindset is so widespread and it's so just harmful for people to not believe that they're deserving or worthy to just talk, like have their voices be heard when everyone's voices should be heard.
Yeah. And I just want to, look out. I mean, I wish I had kept in contact longer with some of those girls that I left with. I mean, I just curious. I hope they've
Mm,
gone on to good lives, better places. Like I feel so bad for these trails kids because, even if the school gets shut down, I try to stay optimistic, but you never know. So many of them are in the system. They're
yeah.
just going to be sent to another place, like a group home or something. What if they go somewhere just as bad or even worse? They don't have a say in it.
No. It's so
That is,
it's like oh, I lost the analogy, but it's like so corrosive and there's just so many of them that you can't it's hard to just take down one at a time. You have to take down all of them or else just like three more will sprout out for every one that's
you
taken
can't
down.
excuse it. Like, you can't excuse one and let the
Yeah.
other go. Like, I don't know what happened to like this. I'll have to look more into this rape case at Perkins, but it's really like really upsetting to me that this. I know that this person said that there was like a change in management. There must have been like you know because the school I think was founded on good intentions,
Mhm.
but like I said, a place is only as good as the people that work there.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's a hard field. Like even teaching at I was a preschool teacher and even
Oh.
I experienced burnout, even though like I did have to deal with some special needs. I did have some special needs kids, but mostly it was just like quote
Mhm.
unquote mainstream. And you do get burnout as a caregiver, but if you get burnout, you have to leave. You have to know your limits. I had to know
Yeah.
my limits. I finally like I had to step away when I got burnout because
Mhm.
you're not only doing a disservice to yourself, you're doing a disservice to the people that rely on you
Yeah.
for care. And this is what this industry needs to understand. Like schools and psychiatric wards, they're just burning staff through, and that's not acceptable. Like, if you're going to work at these places, you have to be dedicated, you have to care. And if you can't step away, because you're not doing the world a favor.
No. I've met too many adults, too many teachers who work with kids who just don't care about the people they need to be taking care of.
Exactly. And also, they don't like, and even the ones that do and are just ineffectual, it's because they don't get the proper training and they have to deal with like administration that has, you wonder if they've ever stepped in a classroom because they have
Yeah.
no realistic expectations as to how to run a classroom or what to expect from parent teacher interactions and whatnot. And that's everywhere. I mean, but it's even worse when it's like special education because
Mm,
you
yeah.
really like these kids are really struggling. Like I had a really good special ed teacher in high school, like, and it really helped me get through
Mm,
those 4 years without hospitalizations and major issues. I mean, it wasn't all like sunshine and roses, but it was definitely like what felt like a normal life. Like I was able to, have friends and work
yeah.
and do activities and stuff like that. And, all because I had a support system. Like I could go to this homeroom when I was feeling overwhelmed and talk to my
Mm,
special education teacher, because that's why I need it, not for learning disabilities, but because I have a psychiatric issue that causes me emotional
yeah.
and behavioral problems. So having that outlet, that's what I want to see, like kids, like special education, yes, but not in the form of institutionalization.
Yes. And I'd like to say it's not just people suffering from different like mental illnesses or special needs. Just I think all teenagers, all kids deserve to have like this support system in place where they can just
Yep.
feel safe and supported.
And parents need to know how to advocate. Caregivers need to know how to advocate, and we should be giving, especially teens, a voice in their treatments.
Absolutely.
As a parent, because my son needed an IEP, like, he was struggling a little bit in pre-K with
Mm-hmm.
certain things like fine motor skills and socialization. And I was actually in the process of setting up an IEP for him. But, when you go to these things, when you talk to these doctors and specialists, as a parent or a caregiver, you don't be afraid to speak up if something doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Don't hesitate to speak up, because this is how the troubled teen industry gets away with what they do. People don't question the practices. They think that these are experts. They must know what they're doing and they must be doing the right thing. If you feel it's wrong, say something,
Absolutely. I
because no
can.
one else will.
Yeah, I can say this because both my parents work in the medical field, not the mental health, but like physical. They're respiratory
Yeah.
therapists. They work with the
Oh.
lungs. But my dad actually teaches respiratory therapy to college students actually, and he can say firsthand that
Oh.
a lot of them. He teaches at a private school, so private
Mhm.
college. But he can say a lot of them don't actually know what they're doing, or they're not as much of an expert as they may seem to the public.
Mhm.
It's definitely not all of them are like that, obviously. There's obviously tons of doctors that do know what they're doing, but not everyone is, and more likely, a lot more of them than you'd expect don't know what they're
And it's not
doing.
always malicious either. Some people just don't have the
Yeah,
proper training or just don't know. So, like, if, like, say, like, I know my parents did what they could, but sometimes I wish they would have just said, like, oh, she's on a medication that's, like, making her so zonked out she needs another one. Maybe we don't, like, keep her on this. Like, if
yeah,
my son was, like, struggling with this, I would want to say to his doctor, look, I don't think this medication is doing him any good. I would like to discontinue or reduce or just, like, speak up.
yeah. Even worse when like
Like,
you're the
be
person
be
taking it.
reasonable, but speak up, because otherwise people get away with.
Yeah, I have a friend who takes so much medication. It's not almost, it is concerning because of how much she takes.
Yes.
Because she has ADHD and she's been through so much. Um,
Oh.
I feel so bad for her. I think she also went to a psych ward. She hasn't really talked in depth about it too much, but she's constantly like nauseous and getting headaches and feeling sick all the time, and she's switching medications like I wish I could snap. I can't. She's switching medications really fast. Insert snapping sound effect right here. That's what you'd be hearing.
No, I get it. There you go. Oh God, like, and it's so frustrating. Like, sometimes I just want to be like, I'd rather deal with bipolar disorder symptoms than deal with this. And you're trying to get better. You're trying to, like,
Yeah.
you know, and you have to deal with all this, like, nausea, weight gain, like,
And like the
tardive
medication isn't like the end all
dyskinesia,
be all. It's like marginally better.
lethargy. And when you're on a psych ward, there's not a lot of, like, opportunities. Like, they tried to get, like, they had, like, a little gym at Boston Children's, which was probably, like, despite some of the really iffy things like the restraint beds, it was definitely one of the better ones. Just because there's some staff that were dedicated, and, like, but it was in the middle of a city. And when I was there,
Mm-hmm.
it was like fall going into winter. There was no real, like, not a lot of exercise opportunities. Not that I've ever been very athletic, but, like, I mean, there were times we walked off the ward supervised, like, they would walk us around the building, and there was even a park nearby that we went to once or twice. But I was there for 2.5 months. That's a long
Yeah.
time to be on two hallways. You know, I was super skinny before I was on those.
No. Yeah. Just to
I mean,
have
part of that
like
is my dietary and, like, exercise habits, but, these medicines, they're so,
yeah. Like the side effects are
it's
real.
hard. They're ridiculous. You know, the paradoxical effect is the scariest aspect. The fact that, you know, it increased symptoms they were trying to help me with. The fact that I almost lost my life.
Yeah, I
I
feel
know it
like
wasn't
that's not
entirely
talked
due to the
about enough.
medication, but the fact that I think it did play a part.
Yeah. Like, sure, the medication helps with psychosis symptoms, but it makes you feel physically sick. Some make you feel depressed or have suicidal ideation. And that's just, how are we
Like,
still
it's
letting
supposed to
people take
treat
that?
suicidal ideation.
Yeah.
It's hard, you know? And I just want things to be better, you know, especially now that, I mean, even if I wasn't a mom, I'd still want things to be better,
Absolutely,
you
yeah.
know? But now that I'm a parent, it's like even more like, just because if it ever was a day, and I hope it doesn't, that my
Mm-hmm.
son ever has like issues like this, I want better for him.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. I love to be in the future. I'm looking for a career as in like CPS, in Child Protective Services, just
Oh,
to
yeah.
help get these kids out of like these horrible situations. But I know that unfortunately CPS doesn't seem to be able to do quite a lot from the stories I've heard.
They are so bogged down with
Yeah.
bureaucratic red tape. I don't envy them their positions because there are people that genuinely care, like you, like wanting to go into it. I even considered like social work
Mm-hmm.
after my experience at Perkins, but I knew it wasn't for me because it would be so hard to like deal with these like kids who are being abused and you can't rescue them because of
Yeah.
bureaucratic red tape or legal loopholes that their parents who are hurting them get around with, and it's sad, you know. So I commend you for doing it, and I hope you
Yeah.
you can, because we need people like you who are dedicated and you know willing to help.
Yeah. These kids that just, they're so, they're literally so innocent. They don't, I mean, nobody deserves this, but especially not
No,
young kids.
little kids, yeah.
Yeah. And I volunteer with teaching kids music at my school, like once a week.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, they have like three different groups, but I work with the youngest one, which is like grades 1 through 3.
Oh,
But I think they go a little bit younger than that. So it's like, oh god, I'm really bad with ages. It's like,
oh, music with little kids. That's always
yeah, it's really nice. But I like, there's a few people who are really, really dedicated, really like the kids. Me and my friend Piper, we both really love it. But then I see other people who I don't really know why they're there, because it's volunteering, so they have the option to not be there, but they don't interact with the kids at all. Or if they do, it's in a way that's not understanding or
yeah.
empathetic.
Some people just don't have a natural rapport with
Yeah.
kids, you know, and it doesn't make them bad people. It's just like, and unfortunately, the field of childcare, like it's kind of like a lot of people, it's very easy. People just like get hired, because they want to, like I said
Yeah.
before, they want to fill, and there's plenty of people who don't have like an educational background who are great,
Yeah.
that I've worked with that are even better at working with the kids than the ones with the
Absolutely.
degree.
Yeah.
But, it is one of those fields, like,
Yeah. I just
I did it
I
for 10 years.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was rewarding, but it was also, there was a definite burnout. And a lot of that had
Yeah.
to do with the red tape and the defunding. And, especially if you work at like a home daycare where you're like paying for classes out of your own pocket, as opposed to
Oh.
like public school where you have like paid professional days,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
So that's
Just
a burden they put on, and then you're expected to like, and that's everywhere. That's like also.
yeah. Just today's society is so fucking, it's just dystopian. It's just so, how is this real?
It is and it isn't. With some things, at least like the fact that we're even talking about the troubled teen industry,
Yeah.
like fact, that wasn't a term I even knew about when I was going through it because people were more accepting of it. I mean, years ago, you could just send your kids away and that was socially acceptable because it was more socially acceptable to send
Yeah.
them away and be rid of the burden, the to society than, and that's kind of how I felt when I was sent away, even though like I know my parents did it out of a place of concern, but I kind of felt abandoned, you
Yeah.
know? I know they didn't intend it to be that way, especially when they went on vacation when I was like I they worked hard for that vacation, but they kind of picked the worst time as I really needed them and I didn't know how to
Yeah.
communicate.
Just especially when you're so young, you need like these strong relationships with people that you've built. That's like the
Yes.
main time that you develop like socializing skills and
And
stuff.
it was hard on my siblings too. I know that. And that kind of increases the guilt because I had all these issues, like some of their issues,
Yeah.
they had to deal with me being away and my issues and that did affect my relationship with well my sister in particular. She was younger. Like my brother, was a little closer, but it really did impact my sister.
Mhm.
And I still feel like very guilty, but I'm also kind of tired of feeling guilty because
Yeah.
I didn't want any of this to happen, and there was so much I didn't have a say in. Like,
Yeah, you didn't do
I
anything
wish they
wrong.
understood that. And yet I feel like I did. Like, I know I did try to take my own life, but like, I was not in control of my mind at the time,
Yeah.
Like, it went in an action I did, but I was 13 and I was fucked up to be to be frank.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it. That's the thing about psychosis that people don't understand, like what psychosis
Oh,
is. You
Jesus.
don't have a grip on reality.
Yeah, sorry my cat
You
jump scared
cannot
me.
distinguish. What?
My cat jump scared me. He just hopped up on the table and now he's blocking the computer. Kindly get off, Marty. Thank you.
Kylie?
Marty,
That's
his name
cute.
is. He's an absolute.
Oh, Marty.
Yeah, he's a bitch. I think
Oh,
he's made an
I miss
appearance in
my
the.
cat.
Oh.
I had a cat. I unfortunately he got really sick and had to be put down like 2
Oh.
years ago. But he was Bones was the love of my life.
Oh yeah.
He was
Um.
my buddy. I'm
Oh.
hoping to adopt soon, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's not the same without animals, isn't it? That's another
No.
thing,
Yeah.
know.
Definitely. They're just
Animals can
wonderful.
be such a comfort.
Except for this fucker who's actually a demon. Stop breaking my computer. My God.
Hey, them. Actually, that was one of the positive aspects of Perkins was they had a horse riding
Oh
uh
wow.
therapeutic horse riding program,
Don't you
and
dare!
I
Oh my
actually
God.
rode a horse.
Get off the table. He's so close to the power button. I'm so scared he's gonna end stream. My God.
Well, whenever you want to end the stream, just let me know. I've been rambling on for
No,
like over
yeah.
an hour now.
I mean, I usually stream for like 2 hours. We've got time.
Okay. Yeah, like whenever you're ready to cut it, just let me know. But yeah, like I actually rode a horse for the first time. It was a little actually something I was a little scared of because I don't
No.
do heights very well. But I learned how to braid a horse's mane, and
Oh, that's
it
so
was cute. And there was a
cute.
cute little shepherd Shetland pony.
Oh.
Duper was his name. I mean, yeah, there were positive. I mean, there were some positive things about being there, but and it's mostly like there just needs to be reform.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it's good to find the silver lining, but that's still like overall is not.
Yeah, it doesn't excuse like the more problematic.
Yeah.
Because I did excuse it for the longest time. I thought that this was normal, and it's just kind of recent years have just really made me think, like
Yeah.
rethink of how this was and how it wasn't okay.
The big like the big message throughout the TTI is that this isn't normal, but it's been normalized. Is the big problem, and we really just
For
need to
something so
just
normalized, so few people know about it.
yeah. It's said
Like
in
outside of it, if you don't have personal experience with it, people really don't know.
yeah, or like even just talking about it. a lot of the times it's said in such like an offhand way because like these survivors often just like um they don't like their experience has been put down so much because it's so stigmatized that they sort of like make their story less less important than it really is, but it is
Yeah.
important, and that only just leads to the more normalization of it because it feels more
Well, it's
normal
even
than it
harder when
is.
they have like positive aspects because it's like, what are you
Yeah,
complaining about? Got to go to school with horses. So like, yeah, well, I was also put in a physical hold when I wasn't trying to hurt anybody, and I was put in, you know, quiet room, which is kind of like a solitary confinement
yeah,
situation. This I was at a hospital where, yeah, they had therapy and activities, but they also strapped me to a bed when I was having a panic attack
yeah, and like these
and
these
put
experiences
me
just
on
like
strong
irreversibly
psychoactive
change
drugs. It's like,
someone's, yeah, it just changed
how do you fight
someone's
against that?
mindset. It's just so it's just changing someone's like these experiences are so different from the quote unquote average person's experience, and
Yeah. I
it
don't even
makes
think
you
I'm
feel
like that.
different.
I'm pretty average, but
Yeah,
I feel like,
just
made to
what
feel
defines
otherwise for
average,
having.
you know,
Yeah,
like there's not really a normal or an average. Everybody is unique in their own way, but like
exactly.
there's a bunch of like shared experiences like going through school, and then a lot of these kids, because they're kids, they're supposed to be in school and they're in these facilities, so they miss out on the really important aspect of being in school for however many years or however long they're in, and
Another,
that's just yeah.
sorry. I was going to say another issue I have with the school, and it's a relatively minor one, but still one I think addressing their approach to curriculum for education. Because they had a lot of kids with learning disabilities, it was a
Mm-hmm.
one size fits all curriculum. And
Mm.
I was never like a straight A student, but I was a good student. And I didn't get the best like education when I was there. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I went to high school, I had a lot of catching up to do,
Oh.
particularly math, which is my hardest subject. Like, and I had to take the MCAS, in Massachusetts, you have that standardized test, the MCAS, and I needed to go to
Ah.
summer school for it because I struggled so much
Mm.
because they had such a one size fits all curriculum approach and they really kind of dumbed it down because, like, no
Yeah.
offense, I'm not saying dumb, but like it wasn't up to the standards
Yeah,
that
it's
are in
not.
most
Yeah.
schools. So I kind of missed out on
Yeah, schools do
I
have
mean, there
like
are other
curriculum
things
for a
like
reason.
yeah. So yeah, I had a lot of catching up to do,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah, like I
and especially with those
see.
standardized tests, because
Oh yeah, not even the standardized test. That's yikes. But I
I
hear
know.
stories of like people who are homeschooled, and this is like a similar approach to what I assume the like these facilities have, is that they have a bit more acceleration in like reading and writing, and less so in like math and sciences because of the way that they're taught and the differences between
Yeah.
homeschool and like real school, uh, or real school, like institutionalized school
Yeah.
with the school system. And um, yeah, I actually heard it from this YouTuber while she was like reacting to a video on these van life like YouTubers or like
Hmm.
influencers who like have families, but they're like going through life traveling through the world on a van or in a van, and then most of them have like
Yeah,
four
yeah.
kids, and it's really, I'd love to actually get someone who's like been a part of that. I think Colin was trying to find somebody who like um one of the kids who was on like a family channel, or like that entire
Okay.
industry is really weird and exploitative. But I think someone who
Yeah.
like lived in one of those van life things, I think most of them are, because this is like a recent trend, so I think most of the kids are like kind of too young to be um, really interviewed or even maybe aware of like the difference in their
Yeah.
experiences. but I'd love to get someone on because that's a really unique story I think needs to be told.
Yeah, that's one I'm not really familiar with, so I would like to learn about that too.
Yeah, they.
Like I know of van life, but I don't
Yeah.
don't really know the darker side to it, you know?
No, I don't know
I always
any
just thought it was like
specifics about it or like
kind
any
of a,
specific influencers, but
yeah,
yikes.
influence. Such a toss up those. Sometimes you get really like positive influencers, and sometimes you get really
Yeah.
promoting good shit, you know?
I mean, I hesitate to call myself an influencer, but I technically, I think there's a difference between
God, I hope I'm not an
influencer.
influencer.
I think there's a difference between influencer and content creator. So I'm a content creator.
Yeah.
At least I create stuff,
And
you
what
know?
a stigma with content creators that like everybody just kind of equivalates, you know, like, you know, you do something, all the social media is ruining
Yeah.
lives, and all these good influencers. Like I have a lot of YouTube channels I subscribe to and they're
Yeah.
great,
It's,
cooking,
yeah,
history, science, and they're by reputable people, that
absolutely.
kind of get bogged down like by all the more frivolous or even irresponsible channels.
Yeah, like it's good for education, for, oh shit, Colin messaged me. Uh,
Yeah, I've been seeing some messages too.
oh, okay, I just got it. Read this message on stream. Message from Colin. Hey folks and Becca. Sorry I am not in this episode. I'll be seeing you guys next episode, Colin. So that's a
Hi,
direct quote
Colin.
from him. Yeah. Um oh, I lost my train of thought. That's fun.
We're talking about van life and
Oh,
influencers.
right. Yeah. Social media is a really big toss up between whether or not it's actually like gonna be yikes for influencing people, but it's also really good for like advocacy and communication. Like that's the main point.
That's how I found this.
Yeah, that's
If it wasn't
exactly.
for social media,
Yeah.
would not even know about
Yeah,
Unsilent.
that's how I found out about the troubled teen industry. So it helps like communicate lesser known issues. It's a way of sharing your voice online.
I don't think, like, I never thought I would actually meet people like that have been, even though I've known people, I lived with them, but I never thought I
Yeah.
would have the chance to meet people to talk about it,
Yeah, like the
you know?
whole it brings people together. It's kind of like an overused argument, but it doesn't make it less true.
And it's easy to, COVID kind of like, you know, maybe a lot of people like disparage like the work from home and stuff like that, but like a lot of
Yeah.
the reliance on social media during that time, but it was necessary at the time, and it actually, like, I joined it was actually a way to socialize
Mhm.
while being isolated, because I joined on a whim a Discord group for like a Mystery Science Theater fan
Oh.
group. Of I love that show. And I met some really awesome people. I even played D&D with them.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, I think
Like,
that's when I
this is a
started
way to
streaming.
socialize when you can't. Like, to meet
Definitely.
people. Like, yeah, there are downsides to social media, but there are upsides too. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, the downsides tend to be more what is
Yeah.
talked about in the media than the upsides to it.
I do think that social media and the rise of like TikTok and stuff during the pandemic is overall a good thing. I hate to think what would happen if people didn't socialize online during the pandemic. I think we'd have all gone crazy by now.
Well, I think that played a part in my friends. I think she
No.
was, between all that, I wonder, I don't know for sure, but I do wonder if that played a part in it, just because she was
Mm,
living, on her own,
yeah.
independent. But it is it was very isolating time. It was necessary. I mean, this was a very deadly pandemic, and
Mm-hmm.
but still, that's isolation. And even though I had family, I joined the Discord group because I felt so lonely.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot. I know, obviously, like a lot of people did, but and I struggle socially anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, a lot
being
of
able
these
to find.
places, yeah, they heavily impact your ability to socialize with other people because of how different your experiences are with like other kids your
Yeah,
age. Yeah. I struggle
exactly.
socially. I'm not very good at conversation, at talking. Um, I struggle with empathy a lot actually. I
Okay.
I generally am really apathetic most of the time. I don't feel anything, which is really weird to me. But even though I lack natural empathy, I try and have as much sympathy as I can because I know how
Mm-hmm.
apathetic I am. And I think like the main the biggest thing for me is that you at least try to understand others.
Yes.
Like even if you don't
Mm-hmm.
like entirely understand, at least you put in the effort to, which I think is the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. And that can be hard, especially
Absolutely,
if you're
yeah.
dealing with like something like mental illness, in which it makes it hard. Like bipolar can make it very hard for me to properly socialize because of the two spectrums. Like
Mhm.
when I'm more depressed, I don't want to be with anyone. But on the other hand, and I know manic is an antiquated term, but it's really like the one
Yeah.
I know of. I overwhelm people, um, because my brain is so running 1,000 miles a minute. I tend to, and I've done it to you, I know, but I tend to overtalk, talk over people, talk fast, you know,
Yeah.
speak impulsively, and that does affect my social life because it affects my,
Mhm.
friendships and stuff like that when I do it, even if I don't intend it. So that is like what makes it hard for me sometimes to socialize.
Mhm. Yeah. But like
That's why I always like I think I'm hard to deal with, and I don't try to be.
if you really like understand and care about the person, that wouldn't affect your like perception of them or how much you care about them cuz that's just
Yeah, I
them.
just know that it's a lot to take for some people, especially when I'm really
Mm.
like I'm not always like it obviously, but when I'm very like I'm going through rapid cycling in particular, um it can overwhelm people. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
And I try to stop it. I try to hold back. I try to take a breath. But it's hard, when your mind is
Yeah.
going 1,000 miles a minute and I'm not currently on medication and I'm very reluctant to go back on it.
Mhm. Yeah,
But I know
understandably.
I kind of need to because, sometimes I feel like I need to
Mhm.
handle it, or that it would help.
Yeah, unfortunately science hasn't come quite far enough to actually provide the miracle cure that lots of people seem to
Yeah.
think it
Well,
is.
I don't expect a miracle cure, but it
Yeah.
does I've had luck with like two medications. That's
Hmm.
it. Like Tegretol for the bipolar didn't give me side effects, and although I don't know how effective it was, just because at the time I was taking it, I was doing a lot better. I
Yeah.
was out of the troubled teen industry. And also Ativan, and I know some people have had issues with it. I did not have issues with Ativan, and in fact, I've used it as an adult. I even took and it was safe for me to take a half tab after I gave birth to my son for postpartum anxiety,
Oh.
and that really helped. And I didn't have like the debilitating side effects I had on things like risperidone and lithium and olanzapine.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah. I mean,
so
like,
like
it's
things like
definitely
that,
not a
but like
one fits
sometimes
all.
it's hard to get a hold of those. First of all, because they're expensive and
Yeah.
insurance only goes so far. And some doctors treat you like a junkie for wanting to be on it,
Yeah.
even though like I know this works for me. I know, and I'm not like overdosing on it. I'm very careful with that after that
Yeah.
experience. So like,
Definitely doesn't
you
help the
know,
stigma.
I'm like I'm trying to help myself, so I
Yeah.
I don't have to go to will you meet me halfway, please? I understand, like I could understand my doctor was the one who gave me a hard time and like I get it. People are like trying to scale back from over prescribing. At the same time,
Yeah.
if you have a patient that knows, that is trying to take care of themselves and knows their medical history, listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
I just lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
But, you know, like being able to advocate for yourself is very important, especially
Absolutely.
in
Yeah.
mental health. And finding resources, and that was another thing, COVID. That was a really negative side. One of the very negative sides to COVID was, just the
Mm.
how hard it's been to access psychiatric care.
Oh yeah. Cause
And
yeah.
and I don't live in the best state for it. Like, it's really like
Mm.
hard. It's been hard for me to find a therapist. Even before COVID, it was hard for me to find a good
Yeah.
therapist. So it's like and now that there's like such a shortage and a high demand, it's even harder.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not the only one who goes through it, but it does make it difficult. So I'm trying to be I'm trying to stay out of these places. I have a kid. I want to be responsible and take care of myself so I can take care of him.
Mm.
But it's hard when you can't like access the resources.
Yeah.
And I really I want to stay out of hospitals. I don't want to do that to my son. I don't want him to have to I don't want him to have a negative association with mental illness. Like at the same time, I'm so afraid of my mental health affecting him negatively.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to be a good role model and at the same time trying to deal with it, but I don't want my issues to really negatively impact his
Mm.
life.
Yeah. That's really admirable.
It's just sometimes I feel guilty. Sometimes I wonder if I ever should have become a parent. That's a big thing with a lot of people with mental illnesses. I was following this channel, Living Well with Schizophrenia, for a while, and she's
Oh.
a mom, and she was hospitalized a couple times, and she talked about her experience, and it's just I admire her for it, but I'm just so scared of
Mm.
my issues affecting my son. Just I don't want him. I've had a couple times where I've had panic attacks, and he has seen it, and I've tried to explain, and I've tried to reassure him that I'm okay, and it's not his fault, or all that, but sometimes I just don't feel good enough, and I feel like some people don't think that people with mental illnesses should be parents, and I would sometimes wonder if that was right, but I don't
No.
want to give up.
Yeah, you shouldn't. As I think you're trying your best, and that's all we can really ask for. I mean, just everybody trying their best, right?
Exactly, but it's just I do know kids who are at the school who had parents with issues, and
Mm.
and not that God, no, I'm not abusive, but some are, unfortunately,
Yeah.
and
The whole hurt
or
people.
their issues just really negatively impact their lives to the point that they can't take care of their kids. I don't want to get to that.
Mm.
I don't want my issues to get to the point where I lose my child because I can no longer take care of him. I'm lucky to have a loving and supportive husband, but he can only do so much. He's
Mm.
a human being, and he doesn't have training, and he's been very supportive of me over the years. He really has been, but there's only so much he can do. And I don't want to be a burden to him either.
Yeah. I think what you're doing is incredible. Just absolutely amazing for what you've gone
Thank
through.
you. I never even thought it was that bad. I feel bad sometimes, complaining or talking about it, because so many people have had it worse. And I know I've said this before, I'm repeating myself, but I do repeat these thoughts in my head
Yeah.
sometimes. I try not to dwell on them, but they come back. It happens to everybody, and just especially when I'm at work, and I'm doing work, and I'm not talking to anybody, so I have time to think. And if some days these things just do come back to me, and I try to distract myself, but sometimes they just kind of dig in and you can't help but go in circles.
Yeah, it's just sometimes it's hard, but the main thing is that we push through and persevere despite it, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Um, I'm
It really
running out of
helps to be
questions.
involved with the community. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Like I said, like you can just feel free to cut me off because I will not shut up.
No, yeah, I I would love for you to talk. I cannot come up with any ideas to keep a conversation going. It is one of my fatal flaws.
Don't worry about it. I know I'm kind of like going back, to conversations things I've already talked about. I feel like I'm talking in circles, so I don't want to get to that
No, yeah,
point.
I had a
So
question, except I can't remember it, which is really bad when I have bad memory.
it's okay. It's been a long night. Like it's actually like 1:30 where I am.
Oh yeah,
Um,
honestly, I should
and I'm a night
probably
owl
let you.
anyway.
I probably should
I
let you
probably
go.
will sign up soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, I wanted to do this and I'm a night owl anyway. I struggle with insomnia, so it's like I'm used to
Mm.
being up till like 1 or 2 in the morning. So that's why I was fine with doing this. I know you guys are all on the Pacific Coast, and I'm on
Oh
the East
yeah.
Coast. What's
Um.
it?
Oh, I think this would be a great ending question.
Yes.
Uh, while as I let you go because it's getting quite late for you. Um,
Mhm.
what is one thing that you'd like to say to your fellow survivors or anybody who's suffered through anything even like similar through this?
You're not alone. You're not alone, and you shouldn't feel that way. There are people that know, there are people that want to help you. There are people that want to fight back against the injustices that you've been through. You have support, no matter your background, no matter your sexuality, no matter your race, whatever. And advocacy is so important both for people and for yourself. Never be afraid to speak up if you feel something is wrong. And to my fellow to the people that I was at Perkins with, I think about you. I hope the best for you. I hope you've all gone on to better places and better lives. And thank you for the ones that were my friends. You were there for me in my darkest hour, and you're awesome, and I miss you. And I hope you guys have, it was so long ago now, so I hope that they've gone on to happy lives. And as adults, because they're all adults now, it was so long ago. But yeah, so that is just what I want to say. Like, you are not alone, and you have people that are willing to fight for you. So don't be afraid to reach out.
Thank you so much for coming and doing this with
Thank
me
you.
tonight.
Thank
I
you.
This is just so great. I'm
This
so
has
thankful
been
to
really
every
helpful.
single person who's um, doing these interviews with us. I'm honored to be able to do this, really.
Yes, I'm so glad to be able to do this. Thank you very much.
So I will let you go now. Go get your sleep.
Time
Or at least
to
try,
go to
at the very
bed.
least. So,
Yes. Thank you so
of
much.
course, thank
We see you,
you.
survivors.
Bye. Have a wonderful rest of your night or morning.
Good. Yes. Good night.
Good night. So, I am not going to end, actually. Oh, I forgot I did that. Whoopsies. Um, cool. Let me stop the recording for Colin, because that's the end of the interview. But I will be doing probably Minecraft. Let me see if Silver is on and wants to join. Um, oh, I can work on the one block server actually. Minecraft launcher. Minecraft, please don't die on me. That'd be great. Why are you updating again? Please. Oh, Silver's not online. Damn. That's so, oh my god. I can't even begin to express just how thankful I am to everybody who's doing this. It really is, I'm not over exaggerating. It really is my honor to be able to do this, for just be able to spread the stories. It's just, it's a not really a once in a lifetime chance, but it's a chance not many get to do, or not many like non-survivors at least. And I'm just so what is it, so proud, I guess, to be a part of the process. I say this after every single interview, and I mean it every single time, because it's just incredible the amount of good we're able to do, right? Why does Minecraft take forever? Let me change this. Post interview charity. One block. Charity. One block. Sky block. That is not how you spell that. There we go. Okay. And then Minecraft. Wonderful. Cool. And Minecraft has just loaded, so perfect timing. Let me do this. Oh, and I need to actually, I will join another VC. My computer is running mega slow now, so that's fun. Discord, please don't crash on me. That'd be wonderful if you did not crash on me. Was it? No, it was Ultimus that had it. Ultimus had one block. Fuck, Minecraft, don't crash on me now either. What are you doing, Marty? It's not time for you to eat yet. What are you doing? Yeah? Cool. Discord is about to crash on me. Cool. What? Sure. Let me do, what is it? Here. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. Which one is one block? There we go. This one. We made a lot of progress on our old one block. Or like last stream with one block. So, did the stream update? I'm not sure. Here. But, oh yeah, I forgot we had a villager. This is what we got so far. We got a cow pen, chest room, storage room, little, I don't know what to call it, crafting room. Might add a bed sometime once I get a bed. I think I have wool, don't I? I have one wool, actually, so not enough. And then I'm waiting for our one sapling to grow. Does it grow? I don't know if stuff grows normally, or if there's like a certain command or something. I'd assume it grows normally, but who really knows? These things again. We're gonna have so much leather. We can make a lot of books and bookcases. Ooh. Lots of diamonds. Wow. Lots of ores. I can probably start growing some sugarcane? No, I don't have water. Do I have cactus? I can grow some cacti actually. What are these pings? What is it? It's Matsi. What day is this Friday? The 20... Is it the 1st? Is it the 1st this Friday or is it the 29th? Let me see. No, it is the 1st. What was he gonna do? I was gonna do something else. I don't remember. What in the heck? Actually, let me switch VCs to this one. Cool. Yeah, and then this one. And what is the second ping actually? Oh, I see blossom. Cool. Yeah. Oh, and I have a lot of flowers that I can actually use as well. What's the second thing that spawned? I swear there's more than one. Oh, the chicken, I see. Oh my god, that's a lot. Actually, I can save a sheep, I think. I could try and turn this area into a little pen. What is that? 3? Oh, this is 4. Gosh. I don't want to do this. Because this is 4. And I definitely don't want to remove all my chest stuff again. What I could do is I could actually build this out and build these little 3x3 pens along the way. Let me see. Let me do this first. I didn't get any. Yeah, I didn't get anything. Iron. That's not what I wanted to do. Give me back. There. And then, hello there. This one. Oh, I also have coal. Did these go in this one? It did. And then flowers. And no, this one had dirt. Cool. Actually, let me get 3 leads. Tie it. One to each of these, I think. Oh, I see those already had leads. So you don't have a lead. You there, and then you don't have a lead. You there. Okay, cool. Please don't run off. I think I will expand this part actually. I like more of this. Do I have enough? Andesite, and I do not have enough andesite. I could mayhaps get some. Let's put this through here. So I have like 4 of these, and then put these through here. So I've got 6 of these. So not a whole lot, but I will make do. I'm also probably gonna lose all these slabs, so that's fun. Andesite. No. Stone. Andesite. Stone. Andesite. Stone. Andesite. Do I just mine until I have more andesite, I guess? I should definitely make a little thing for this guy to stay in, though. I don't know where to put you. Just you keep going places you're not supposed to go in. Let me... this way. Show me... there we go. When will I get more andesite? I haven't gotten it in a while, I don't think. Oh, shit, silver is actually on. Hi! Oh my god! Hi! Nice to see you. Was not expecting to see you here. Ah, I see. Yes, Penis Man! My dad is right next to me. Wow, I cannot type. What? Is that you? I'm not going insane, right? That is your username. Am I going insane? Yes, it is. Okay, yes. Okay. He is insane, wake up. Oh my god. Oh, wait, that's right. I can make andesite with diorite and cobblestone, can I? Can I make it with granite, or does granite make... hold on. Perfect. Okay. What does granite make? Nothing. I could swear granite made something. I don't... what? Sure, I guess. I have 4 more andesite to make into polished andesite slabs. That is wonderful. Put this out. Put this back in. How did you end up over there? wonder I could chainmail. Yeah, you come over here. Where do I put you? You will go here. Wonderful. Stay out of the way, please. What is this one for? Oh, I see. For farming. I don't know what that last one's gonna be for. Oh, okay, so now that I have a little bit more, I can do... I feel like that village is gonna fall off one of these days. Okay. I can now go here and make this. It's like perfect. Sick. Okay, so every 3, it's gonna be this. Let me grab my wood. Neat. Make some more slabs. Do you have Minecraft? I don't. Do I call you? Is your name? Did you post an introduction? Is your name Max, or is that employee? Or is that your employee name? Okay, that is your name. I thought so. I was gonna be like, because I cannot keep calling you Penis Man. I can't. Unfortunately. I would love to. I simply cannot. Let me see. So it's everything. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, perfect. So lots of pens. Whatever works for you. Yeah. It'd be a silly day if I could actually call you that, wouldn't it? Oh, stop raining, dude. It was... So it'd be... 5 by 5. Okay. I need more slabs. Sick. I have a lot of wood anyways. I have more than a stack. What do you mean, dude? Where's my quest? Tell me I don't have... I literally have. Oh, it didn't start. Are you kidding me? Two, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. What are you doing, Marty? Stop. My God. This cat, dude, I swear. Dude. I'll eat your cat, don't worry, I got you. Oh my God. Oh shit, I almost fell. My cat kept bothering me during the interview with Becca, dude. Fuck. Nice. We could have... What's that? That's 3. I mean, I could have like 2 villagers per side. Like this, I think. Mayhaps. Or I could fit another pen, I think. Yeah. Which would be 3 here. And then I could also have something else on that side. Something different. Do I have sticks? I do. Oh, I already have fences. Okay, that's great. Let me make some... Was it this to make a gate? Or is that to make a fence? That's to make a fence. I really like the building style I have for this. I think it looks so cool. Oh, I'm missing one. Are you kidding me? It's extremely cool. Thank you. I'm shivering in my timbers. There we go. That's the last one, I think. And then fences. Cool. Full on quaking. Let's leave my cows in one by one then. And there you go. Which one of you was released? You? No. You? You. Let's go. Move your ass. Here we go. There we go. Your turn. In here. And now, you. Leave the poor cow alone. No. You coming in here, buddy? Bucko. Get in here. There we go. Now the sheep. I need to open this up. Actually, for the sheep to come through. Please don't walk over here. You will most likely walk off the edge and die. I'm gonna be fully honest. Don't go in here with the sheep, dude. What are you doing? There. Like, I had a burger like 2 days ago. Eat the cow. I had a burger today, so. That looks great. Oh my god. And there's like a little bridge. Oh, I should raise it a little bit. Make it go like up. Oh, that'd be cute. I'm not getting those slabs back. Sag. Not a single one. Oh, I got one. Bruh. That looked good. And then I'm gonna add like trapdoors there. I think that's fine. I don't have enough. I need 6. Sticks there. Cool. Move. Move. That looks cool. It's like a little bridge. Oh, I love that. Somebody please sleep. I can't sleep. Thank you. Quack. The villager looks so punchable. I'm crying. Literally. That's not what I meant to do. Yeah. Oh, are you in VC? Oh my god, you are. Don't bring up the snap, not the snap jump scare, dude.
9, 8, 7, 6.
Oh my
5,
god,
4,
you
3,
found
2,
the countdown. Oh wait, I gotta go. Oh my god, the tree actually grew. I was not expecting it to at this point. But, that's great. I have to go feed my cat. So, if you would be so kind as to entertain chat with this wonderful soundboard. I should make shears. Bet. Oh gosh. 8. Holy shit. Yeah, you have fun with that, chat. I will be back soon.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow. Incredible. I also got an apple pie with me. So, very silly. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was gonna... Oh. Oh, right. And shears. Now I can make a bed. Do I not get leaves? No, you're kidding me. I thought I get so many leaves. Okay, I do. That air horn jump scared me, like legitimately. Okay. I was scared. I thought I wouldn't get any leaves. I should probably leave some to get a sapling. Because I'm gonna be fucked. There you go. Oh, leaves aren't very good for composting at all. Anyways, I'll save some for building as well. Actually, you know what is good? I could have, what are the big ones? Are peonies the big ones? I can like bone meal these ones and get more flowers, I think. Where's the sand? It's this one. I'm gonna have farming beyond here, but I can't put sand there unless I have something there. So for now, I can put them. I definitely, yeah. I think it's can't have. No, this one. Fences. And I'll just break it because I have no collection system anyways. Sigh. Bruh. Well, shit. Let's see if I do this and I bone meal it, will I get? I do. So it's not bad, but like not good. Yeah, peonies are the big ones. I thought so. Hmm? Ooh, gold. Hmm. I can see myself using some granite in this build eventually, I think. Ooh, we finally made it to a new kind of. Oh, no way! I get deep slate. Oh my god, I love deep slate and copper. Can I build the new copper stuff? Ooh, more diorite. Fun. Ooh, I don't have a sword. Oh, you know what I do have? Do I not get it, or does it stay above? Yeah. Ooh, do I get new stuff in this chest? Ooh, oh, lanterns. Oh my god, I love lanterns. And it's like dirt, sand. That's nice. More diorite. So I'm unfortunately gonna be a bit low on wood for a while. I need need a water source. I need 2 water sources actually. That's what I need. Why is it so laggy? Where do I put this stuff? Maybe I had one for mobs and I here. Yeah. Make a bow. I can also make a fishing rod. Ooh, I don't know how to do fishing, but I was thinking about doing it. I think you need like a 5 deep water block. I could be wrong. I'm gonna go snooze. Go EP. Might rejoin if I can. Alright, good night, Max. There we go. I need to redo my tools soon. Ooh, iron and bones. Fun. Ooh, bones are good for bone meal. That is nice. I like that. Oh yeah, they would die in sun, wouldn't they? L. I forget that you can actually come down here. Now what I could use is I could use a little bit of a trapdoor. That help? I don't know if that really helped much, but maybe. Oh, right. This one. Yeah. That's kind of a waste. Can I not bone meal cactus? scared the shit out of me. I hope you know that.
Hee.
I was like, what the fuck is that noise? Oh, I can use the cactus as a disposing mechanism, like a trash can actually. Because I think it deletes items.
I'm aware. I'm terrifying.
I was just hearing these random shuffling noises, and I was like, what is that? The fuck?
It's me.
Do I have? I don't have enough. Sick. Okay. Here. And then take one of these. Motherfucker. Bitch. Did you see that penis man join the stream for a little bit?
No, I was not aware.
They did. I was like, yo, no way. Is that the famous penis man? Right next to my dad. And see, I actually have a lot of emeralds I could trade with the guy. So the zombies all die in sun, and then the spiders can't get down here anyways. So we're chilling.
Medic and I are being silly. I know I haven't been to your streams in a while. I remember now.
Was it really late at your time?
No, really late at my time. We had to
Oh my
stop
god, I didn't know you could come down
something.
here. What the fuck? You could've come down before, motherfucker. Bruh, this bullshit.
You said a bad word. That's pretty. That's not nice of you.
This bullshit.
Did you know bad words? I mean, bad words are bad. So you should stop that right now.
There I go. That was so fast. I should have a little, I wish you could hang lanterns off the side. It would look so good, except you can't. So I'm just gonna, I also can't put it there. I can put it on fence posts though. That looks cute. Fuck's sake. That's why I don't like putting, what's it? I don't like putting item frames on my chest for that. Ooh, 8 emeralds now. Just aren't very interesting, I don't think. That is not cherry. Let me actually... Oh. I was gonna switch my version, but that would take way too long because I need to reinstall Minecraft. So,
Oh my fuck.
redstone, ore spawners, potions, brewing. Miscellaneous? Yeah. $500. I have 250. How do I sell things? Oh, I see. What do I have a lot of that could be valuable? I have a lot of flowers. I don't think they're that valuable. Dirt's not super valuable. I have ores. How's copper sell for?